Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Hello everybody and welcome back to the iRacing Israel League here at VIR, one of the fan favourite tracks on iRacing, of course, now free for everyone and up to date as it has ever been. And we've got some really good Formula cars to drive around here, which in my opinion are kind of the best way to drive this circuit, to be honest. Those mid-tier Formula cars, Formula 3, USF 2000s, they just hook up really well, nice around this track, and God knows what's going to happen today. But nevertheless, I'm your host, Aaron Smith, with Louise Arroyo in the production trailer. And well, it's me again, just me, soloing this one. And, to the people who are watching, maybe compare the start of the stream to the end, with how well my voice is doing, and if I still have it by the end of the stream. But I'll keep it to a minimum and try and save myself. I've run out of water as well, so that's not going to help. But enough of my problems. Let's get into today's action. We've got qualifying at the moment, and not actually got too many people in this race compared to recent weeks, but still going to be just as chaotic as it usually is. This league is well known for being chaotic wherever you look, and I don't think today is going to be any different whatsoever. But there's only one way to find out, and qualifying is usually quite interesting in this league, as some drivers sometimes struggle to get in their good one-lap pace. And we've seen some surprises often in recent weeks, especially at Suzuka. It was the qualifying there was just what on earth. It provided with some really good races, especially that feature race. And if you haven't watched it, feel free to go watch that feature race. It really was just chaotic from start to finish, and had some really surprising just finishes, some surprising overtakes, and maybe today we can get some more of the same. We all dearly hope so. But now on to qualifying. We're just flicking through some of these drivers on their first laps. Obviously at the moment we have no clue really who is going the fastest, as it is their first lap, just getting their tyres up to temperature for that second push lap. Whereas, I mean, I don't know actually if there are any cars in iRacing where the first lap is quicker than the second. I guess you could say maybe GT3s, but usually these Formula cars, it does take a lap or two to fully get them up to temperature. And we've got our first lap times coming in on the board now. Babbitt and Stern going very, very close to 0.02 of a second. How about that? Michelin then bumps ahead of them by half a second. Then Gabay goes ahead of him by 0.06 of a second. And that was really, really close, actually. Like, between a few of these drivers, you've got first and second separated by all not that much. You've got Galili there going off the track at the final corner. That's not the way to do it at all, and he will have to go for another lap. But yeah, these times are fairly close. I think Michelin has gone off the track and messed up his second lap time, so we won't be seeing him improving. There's the 777 going off there. We definitely won't be seeing him improving on his time, so he's at least going to be starting on the front row of the grid. But of course, we have many other drivers who have yet to complete a lap. And I don't believe we have an Alan Day today, so we won't have him blitzing the field by half a second in qualifying, so we might actually have a close session today. But we've got the usual really quick drivers. We've got the 48 of Connor, Scher up there as well. And some of these guys recently have been able to hold a candle. And ooh, Idan, that's not the way through turn 11 at all. And spins off there and out into the grass. And he'll be kicking himself that he didn't get that lap time finished. But nevertheless, still waiting for some of the quicker drivers to come through and complete the lap. This track is a little bit difficult to put it all together, and like I was saying earlier, these slower Formula cars, it does feel really nice around here, but sometimes getting it all hooked up together can be quite a challenge, as it is a fairly long lap time around here. Well, I was just talking about Connor, and there he goes, 7/10 ahead of anyone else, a 48.8. Really good lap time by him, and I wonder if anybody else will be able to get close, as you're on 4/10 down, but nevertheless goes onto the second row for now. This is Scher, who we saw go off just a few corners ago, and this lap will not count, obviously, towards his qualifying at all, but it would have been interesting to see what kind of sector times he was doing anyway, and whether he was on a good lap. But hey-ho, he's going to give it another go. I'm not sure. Oh, no, he does have enough time for another lap. No, my maths is wrong. He does. I don't think he does. My maths completely just blanked out for a second. I don't think he has time to go for another lap, unfortunately. And yeah, actually, I don't think anyone else, once they cross the line, is going to be able to do another lap. There's a Ventura, 150.1, goes up to 5th place. Not too shabby at all. Pretty decent lap time there. Got a few more people finishing up their laps. I think we might be able to get 2 or 3 more people finishing their laps. We've got Diag, who's just about to finish his lap. It's going to be kind of close. He's got 30 seconds to get around this final sector. He's the closest one, I believe, to finishing a lap time. Along with Michelin and Last. We'll see what kind of lap times they are doing. And he's got 20 seconds to get around these final few corners. I think he's safe. Oh, well. If there's a commentator curse, a fairly light one, but curse nonetheless. And he was not able to finish his qualifying lap, and unfortunately might be starting last on the grid, depending on if anyone else can finish their lap times. And no, they can't. So yeah, he is actually starting in last place. So that final corner mistake has really cost him in this qualifying session. But now we've got the race, which we all know is chaotic, and you just cannot predict who is going to finish where. It's Sharon Connor on pole position by 0.4 of a second from Nadav Yuron in 2nd place. Gabay in 3rd. Michelin just behind him in 4th. Ventura in 5th. Baba in 6th. Stern in 7th place. Levi in 8th. Sorek in 9th. And Galili rounding out your top 10. Mizzou's in 11th place. The last driver to actually set a lap time, Scher in 12th place And then your final few grid positions, Kedda in 13th, last in 14th, and Dieg in 15th place. Like I said, not as stacked as a grid as we've had before, fairly small, but I think if the number 48 of Connor can keep it out of the wall, keep it clean, and just keep it calm and collected, he will be able to take a victory today. But I've said this many, many times, you really don't know what's going to happen in this race because, you know, in previous weeks we've predicted one thing and then the opposite happens. So yeah, maybe if bets were allowed on Apex Racing TV, then perhaps this series wouldn't be the best one to choose to do so, as this is probably the most unpredictable league that we have running. Maybe some other people would like to debate that, but I mean, you gotta love a bit of unpredictability. Sometimes it's very, very entertaining and very, very exciting. Will this race be any different? Might we have a bore fest? Who knows? There's only one way to find out. We've got one race at the start, and then the top 10 are inverted for the second feature race. And that top 10 inverted can cause some serious issues, as we've seen, especially at Suzuka. The likes of Alan Day would run away with it in the heat race, then get caught up in incidents because he's starting all the way down in 10th. And, you know, some might say it's a bit of luck, but at the same time, you do have to have a lot of spatial awareness. You do have to be a bit cautious. And, you know, some say you create your own luck at the end of the day. Some might want to debate that, but yeah, you kind of do. You kind of put yourself in certain places. You take risks. But sometimes in motorsport, you have to take these risks. And especially if you're fighting for championships, it's a bit of two minds. You got to take the risks to get as many points as you can. But at the same time, you want to be as consistent as you can. And I think also with the smaller grid, the top 10 inverted will prove to be a little bit more interesting, and we might actually see some people being a little bit tactical. Oh, that's not at all tactical. Kind of trying to get some heat into those tyres and nearly lost it on the formation lap. And he has a very, very good chance of winning this race, and that's not the way to do it. You don't often see the lead cars doing that at all, and that was a... I mean, he managed to catch it, obviously. He's still here. He's just about managed to reverse his embarrassment of nearly winning it. And, yeah, that was very, very, very strange. He's very close to the safety car. He just wants to get this up and running. And I think from most of the safety cars, well, I say safety cars, the formation laps that we've had this season, we've had fairly short formation laps, whereas this one is the full track length, if I can get it out, which should be around 2.5 to 3 minutes-ish, I believe, on this formation lap. So you are waiting for a long time. And, you know, as a driver, he really wants to get this up and running, doesn't he? He's being so aggressive on that tyre warming, and is right up the safety car's chuff. And, you know, I think the 22 of Euron is probably pooing himself, actually, just seeing how quickly kind of wants to get this race up and running. And I do not blame him. Or maybe he's just being a little bit tricksy on the formation lap. Who knows? We're about to go green here in Virginia, as the safety car is about to pull off as we come around the final corner. We'll see it pull off into the pit lane. There it goes. Is Connor going to wait? And there he goes. We are green here in VIR. Very, very good jump on Connor on the rest of the field. It was kind of like Euron faked to go, but then Connor kind of used that to his advantage. There's a car off. That's the 777 of Mechalem going off the track. And not the ideal way to start a race, but nevertheless, he's fallen to last place. And that's given a few people an extra place. I think he's managed to get back onto the track now. And we'll see what he can do for the rest of this race. We know how quick he is. And there's a lockup there. Ooh, Ooh, that was very, very close. The two teammates there nearly getting into each other, 420 and the 422, really getting up each other's chuff, and have people being sort of aggressive and tame at the same time on this opening lap. It's like some people taking a very cautious approach and then other people doing the exact opposite and going full send on this opening lap. I mean, what do you have to lose? Just send it up someone's inside. But other than that, been a fairly calm first lap. We've already got some spreading out in the field, and yeah, it's a lot calmer than I expected, but I have the feeling that's not going to last for very long as we come to the end of this first lap. This is usually where people make the most overtakes around these final few corners, because you get a fairly decent slipstream up the hill. But when you're in a train like this, where you've got a slipstream train, it's very difficult. Baba's going to try and look for a gap. He might have been able to find it. Couldn't quite, though, and that's the 17 spinning. That's Gabay and Baba, and oh, that's caused a big pile up there. And that's 3 cars involved. That's Baba, Mazuz, and Gabay. Oh, that was not a good rejoin from Gabay at all. I think Levi as well has had an off somewhere. We'll take a look at that afterwards. But yeah, here's actually what happened to Levi. I don't know if he had contact with someone or he just lost it by himself. Oh, you can see there, yeah, just way too aggressive. Not sure what that was. I think that might have been Stern. Bit of an aggressive move around that final corner, and it's actually really badly affected his race. And look at the gaps that we've already got. It was Stern who made contact, and he actually lost a place to Sorek in all of that. And yeah, I literally said, you know, very calm first lap, and then it all went to squats. And yeah, my jinxing powers coming in very effectively, as it usually does. And yeah, we've got some huge gaps. Only the top 7 now realistically have a good chance of getting a good result in this race. And we'll see what Stern can do, as we know he made an aggressive move on the first lap. Is he going to be a bit more cautious this time round on Sorek? We'd rather hope so, and hope he doesn't wipe anyone else out of this race. And hello, I said the 777 had some decent speed. He's already making up places. Was down to 15th on the first lap and is now up to 12th. He's making steady progress, and hopefully he hopes that by the end of this heat he'll be on reverse grid pole. We'll wait and see what happens to him. Here's Galili going for a move. Actually, he's the one defending, my apologies, from last. And actually, speaking of last, he's had an absolutely storming start, up 8 places. And oh, there's Galili getting it way too deep and manages to keep it just about on the track and in one piece. And you have a lot of room to make a mistake on this track, actually. You have the widest grass traps I think I've ever seen. Give Paul Ricard a run for its money, actually. Just replace them with tarmac runoff, and you pretty much have the same track. I've just offended every single American in the world. I mean, yeah, this track is fairly forgiving in certain areas and really unforgiving in others. But Sorek is trying to make his way back past Stern. I think this battle is going to be really intriguing. These guys seem to be relatively similar on pace, but I think Stern might just about have the advantage, I think. But this slipstream in this car is incredibly powerful. And yeah, I think this is going to be the battle to watch. I mean, that and the fact that, you know, everyone else is really spread out. But I think Meshalem is catching up to Daig. I don't know if Daig has made a mistake somewhere. But he's going incredibly slowly compared to Meshalem. I don't know if Meshalem will be a little bit more patient. He's kind of forced to. Can't really go for an overtake in this twisty section of the track. And yeah, I think Daig is just going to let him through. And we'd also like to apologise for the sniffling, and if I sound terrible during this broadcast, hay fever is a thing at the moment, and my throat is killing me already. But here's the move that I was talking about. That's that slipstream coming into effect, but Sorek chooses to back out, interestingly enough. I mean, got a fairly decent race length. We've got 8 laps in this Grand Prix. You know, there's FOM coming for me already. but he's got some time on his hands and doesn't have to go for the move instantly. And I can sit back if he chooses to do so, which he is at the moment. But we have a man we haven't actually talked about since, I think, the start of the race is Carlo in first place, who's, as I predicted, just storming away and just set the fastest lap of the race, a 48.88, and was around 0.8 of a second quicker than most of the other drivers today. And Yaron was only 0.6 off, but still quite huge. Here's a surprise move. Into turn 1, that's for 8th place. I don't think Kadar was fighting that one too difficultly. That wasn't a word. I don't know. I tried to say like 3 words at the same time and it all just came out as one jumbled mess. But nevertheless, pretty good overtake there. And here's Soric getting incredibly close to the diffuser of Stern. But again, not really going for an overtake. And I don't know if this is a little bit of mind games going on with Soric. He's trying to get into Stern's head. Maybe force a mistake from Stern at some point. But look how much time Soric gained on the exit there. Stern took a very sharp entry and kind of pinched himself on the exit. And Soric pretty much did the opposite. And gave himself a really, really good run here. Is he going to go for the move this time? Or is he going to do what he did last lap? No, he is actually going to go for the move. And this is going to be interesting. Side by side through here, we've seen a few times here on Apex. Doesn't usually end well, but this time, Soric gets the move done and up into 4th place. But, obviously, Stern, being the man that he is going to try and fight this one back, but gets a butt ton of understeer around that final corner, and we have to just tuck into the slipstream and wait for his opportunity to arise once again. And I think this is just a patient game in this race between these two now. They don't have to be too aggressive with each other, as it would be risking a little bit too much. There's a lock-up from Soric, but Stern also doesn't have the best of turn ones in the world. But yeah, this definitely is going to be the battle to watch, and let's hope that they don't make contact. And speaking of contact, I believe Diag and Scher might have had a coming together, as Scher is losing a huge chunk of time, and Diag lost about 5 seconds as well. We're going to get a replay of what happened. And yeah, this is what I was talking about, going side by side down this straight. It doesn't often end well here on Apex. So Scher is really, really far back. Maybe, oh dear. Nope, Scher lost it by himself. I wonder if Diag also got a bit distracted by Scher going off the track and had his own incident up ahead. And I believe that is exactly what happened. But Scher lost a lot more time than Diag did. And hello, we're going side by side again. I think Soric had a horrible exit going through Oak Tree, and it has allowed Stern to really give this one a big old fight once again. And they're going side by side down this straight for what seems like an infinite amount of time. But Soric is in that difficult spot where you're just outside the slipstream, and they both lock up, but this time it's Stern who spins himself round, and he's not actually rejoining the track. Can he find reverse? Yes, he can, but bumps into the barrier. He'll have to be careful to rejoin safely, and does just about ahead of Levi in 6th place. But some would call that bad karma for taking out the driver earlier in the race for Stern. Yes, actually, it was this man. Actually, it was Levi. Thank you for pointing that one out, Louise. I didn't even realise it was actually Levi who's going to get his revenge here into turn 1, possibly. Is there going to be more contact? That would be really, really awkward between these two. Levi choosing the outside line. Going to be very, very interesting, but now has the inside line for this next corner and is now fully ahead and fully up to 6th place. And, oh, no, actually, Stern is going to try and put a nose in, but just did not have the braking power necessary to do so. And, wow, yeah, I didn't even realise. Stern, they're making contact with Levi on lap 1, then loses the rear on lap 5, and now they are back together again harmoniously, and let's hope they can keep it in one piece. this time round. But yeah, Soric was really, really lucky to avoid that, as they both locked up, but I think Stern just locked the rears a little bit more than Soric did. But anyway, here's a replay of what actually happened. And I think maybe Stern might, into this corner, have lowered his brake bias, but just did it a little bit too much. And yeah, you can see there, they both locked up, but Stern locked the rears a lot more. And actually, he beached the car there on that curb. And oh, hello, we resumed this battle. And Levi and Stern going side by side. Levi just manages to leapfrog ahead. Stern this time being a lot more cautious than he was on lap 1. Do I blame the man? No, not at all. He doesn't want to make contact with his fellow driver this time and wants to remain clean as we come now onto lap 7 for these drivers. They've only got 2 laps to finish this battle. Stern being very, very aggressive there. We come into turn 1 and he locks up again. Levi being much better on the brakes, and oh, he just had to go and spoil it. I think he was actually too deep on the brakes, then tried to get on the power to compensate, and just got all loosey-goosey there, and has to concede the position to Stern. And, well, he's already caught back up to him, and is tucking into that slipstream nicely as Stern runs very, very wide into the opening of the S's. And this, I was saying the battle between Soric and Stern was going to be the one to watch, but it seems like no matter where we go, Stern is always the man to watch. He's providing some good entertainment at the moment. And oh, Levi being very, very lucky there not to get onto the grass. And lost again a lot of time. And I would just like to mention as well, Ventura has made a mistake up ahead. Lost about 10 seconds. And now he's fighting for 3rd place with Soric, and there's contact again. And this time Ventura, the number 13, this time the losing driver, and will actually concede position to last as well. And we joined that battle at rather an awkward time between these two. And look how far back Soric was. So maybe was he just really early on the brakes? It looked a bit weird. Maybe he lifted off there. Possibly a slowdown is what I'm thinking. And then goes way too hot into that corner. Locks up in front of Soric. And Soric did very, very well to just about avoid it. And yeah, Soric's had a really, really impressive Heat 1. Got to hand it to him. He's just kept it clean. And there's a lock up for Stern, who's not going to make Levi's job any easier as he puts himself in an awkward position. And I don't really know who's going to be able to win out this battle. And our last has also made a mistake. A lot of mistakes coming out in this last part of the race. And has given Ventura the opportunity to get back up 1 place. And almighty gosh, he wants this 4th place really, really bad. He's going to go for an optimistic overtake. Side by side through here is not recommended. But they managed to keep it together on the track. Good job from those two, giving each other just about enough space. And no, there's Last going off the track. He's going to have to be careful getting back on. And he does so very, very well. Good car control from him. But I think he's just a little bit too far back to go for an overtake. And yes, he is. But, hello. This is the last opportunity for Levi to get past Stern for 6th place. That gap is going to come down and down. But we're just going to quickly cut away to this man who once again has had a fairly quiet race. Connor wins the opening heat race here in VIR. But we cut back to this battle now for 6th place. Ooh, Stern goes very, very late on the brakes. It was very brave. And that might have just been the move that's going to win him out that 6th place. It was very, very brave. Very, very bold. But there's not much Levi can do now. It's not really going to be a run to the line. He's just too far back. And it'll be about 0.2 of a second when we cross the line, but it's just not enough. And Stern wins out that battle and gets 6th place in the end. And this is Galili maybe trying to get reverse grid pole off Michelin, but Michelin is just about going to hold on and take it, and we'll be starting on pole in the feature race. But yeah, wow, that was fairly topsy-turvy. He won that. Lots of entertainment, plenty of exciting moves, and a little bit of controversy sprinkled on top, just to make it even better. But the last few drivers who haven't had the best opening races, Baba, of course, started right up there and just got caught out in lap 1. Excuse me. Corby as well, one of the drivers suffering on the opening lap. That opening lap was very awkward, especially that final sector. And my hay fever is getting worse and worse. Perhaps before I should have closed my window. That probably should have been a good idea. So Sher, the final car to cross the line, and he finishes in 14th place. And wow, I should probably get nasal spray or something. It's getting quite bad. Oh god, I hate trees. They're just awful. I don't know if anybody else here suffers with hay fever as well, but oh, it's horrible. And I feel bad for anyone else out there suffering with it as well. But enough about my hay fever. Let's get on to what the grid is looking like for this second and last race tonight. It's Meshalem, the 777, starting on pole. Reverse grid pole, of course, as he finished 10th in the opening heat. Kadar starts alongside him in second. Mazuz in third. Levi in fourth. Stern in 5th place. That battle will continue to breed on into this race. Last in 6th. Ventura in 7th. Sorik in 8th place. Really good run from him. See what he can do in this last race. Yaron finishing in 9th. Starting in 9th. And Connor in 10th place. He's going to be one to watch for this feature race 100%. Khalili in 11th place. Gabay in 12th. Shah in 13th, Baba in 14th, and Dayak in last place. And once again, we've got a very, very long formation lap ahead of us, where the drivers try to calm their nerves, get down with the job at hand, and I think that's the most important thing as a driver, just to use this formation lap to get your head in the game and just prepare yourself for what is to come. And Diag choosing not to continue today, and we will only have 14 cars in this last race, so just another place for everyone to fight with. And yeah, once again, I really do apologise if my sniffing is annoying anyone. But if anyone out there would like to develop a cure for hay fever, I'm open, really. I will take experimental drugs if necessary. Jokes aside, hay fever is horrible, and honestly, if anybody else out there suffers with it as well, I salute you, and you're suffering just as bad as I am. And yeah, I am really regretting not closing my window now. But yeah, I'm just going to have to deal with it, just as these drivers are going to have to deal with these next few laps. 8 to be specific, and to be fair, I don't actually know who will come out on top. I mean, I know I say that all the time, but genuinely, for when it's reverse grid pole like this, it's really hard to predict, and I don't know what Meshalem's doing. He's falling behind a little bit. The man starting in first this race, he's behind Kadar, which, I mean, I know it's just a formation up and he can do whatever he wants, but a tad weird, to be honest. And a few drivers there in the background weaving, but to be fair, in iRacing, warming up your tyres is not the easiest process in the world. As many people, I'm sure, who have raced on this sim have experienced. It is very difficult to get heat into the tyres on a formation lap. And of course, the controversial brake dragging not really being
useful anymore, as iRacing pretty much got onto that. And yeah, I'm pretty sure you get a penalty. You have to tow back to the pits if you do. And yeah, I agree with that punishment. It's not really any other way to enforce it, to be honest. But anyways, we've got this one last race to go. The safety car is about to pull in. And we wait for Michelin to go. And there he goes. That was a very, very good start. Possibly the best safety car restart I've ever seen. I say safety car restart again. My apologies, is the formation lap. As we are green here, that was a really awkward incident behind. One of the cars there just didn't launch off the line at all, and oh my word. It was the 55, and I think that's Stern who was very, very tentative on the brakes. And just got swallowed up by a few other drivers. And the 422 as well was the car that got hit on the start-finish straight. And there's a car off that's, I believe that's last. And he manages to rejoin the track. I wonder if he'll pick up a slowdown because of that. I doubt it, but you just never know. But wow, that was an incredible start. And oh, we've got a crash in the background. This is Yaron you are looking at on your screens right now. I believe he has front wing damage. He's still reversing. Not sure who he actually got into contact with, or whether it was just by himself. But nevertheless, we're going to take a look at a replay of who he made contact with. He's rather in the mix right now. Really, really awkward position to be in. And he just loses it by himself. Really awkward. Yeah, there was the 73 going off. That is Sorek. But, well, we have a lot of incidents on this opening lap. And there's Ventura being another victim. God, I can't speak today. He's been off the track at some point and has given up a few places, but didn't get punished too heavily for it. But my golly gosh, what an amazing start by Michelin. And I mean that. That was one of the best starts I think I've ever seen. I mean, it was... He just jumped the rest of the field like nothing I've ever seen. Like, he gained 2 seconds, I think. Like, on that opening section, it was... it might have been 3. I mean, he's gained a few tenths on this lap anyway. But wow, it was incredible. And there's a lock-up into turn 1. And people really, really struggling at the moment. There's one of the cars up ahead. That's Kedar who locked up into turn 1. And he's just getting swallowed up right now. He's really struggling, and that's really, really awkward. Ventura trying to find a way past. I don't know if he has a slowdown. Oh, 3 wide, and that's Kedar making contact with Ventura, who's been sent into the Shadow Realm. And I don't know what Kedar's doing. He's just going so slow. And just holding everyone up. And there's a 17 on the inside, and Ventura just unlucky. Not really his fault at all. And I don't really know what Kedar was doing. He was just going really, really slow. I don't know if he had a slowdown or just had a bad few corners and just couldn't get the car to get under control. But yeah, that was just really, really weird. He unfortunately put a dent in Ventura's hopes for this race. But look at the progress that Connor has made already. He's about to go up into 3rd. And last, I don't think we'll fight this one too much. Yeah, he lifts off there and lets Connor through. I don't know if Connor will be able to win this race. Oh, that's very slidey for Connor, as he lost around half a second there, nearly losing it into turn 13. Got very, very lucky to save the car there. It's, I think he's just having a moment of lag there. I don't actually think he's gone into the pit lane. I could be completely wrong. He might actually be in the pit lane. Is he in the pits? He is actually in the pit lane. Oh my word. I was completely wrong there. My apologies. I thought he was having a lag spike. And Michelin, your race leader, has gone off the track as well. And in this last 30 seconds, it's completely shifted. Baba as well has made a mistake. He's falling down the order. You can see there. And my apologies there. I really do I thought he was just having a lag spike, but he actually did come into the pit lane. And, wow. Very, very interesting. I don't know if it was for the start, where he got an infringement or something. And Bubba there just giving it too much throttle on the exit of turn 1. Pardon me. And, yeah, I would also like to see what happened to Michelin. He was like 4 seconds in the lead. And, excuse me, and then just completely bowled it. And really unfortunate for him is that lead looks fairly in the bag. But here's a replay of what happened as we come into turn 1. It looks fairly under control at the moment. And yeah, just the same as Bubba. On the exit of turn 1, just got it all wrong. And that was really, really unfortunate for him. He had a really, really good opportunity to win this race. And he still does, but he's going to have a tough, tough job on his hands to get past Levi, who we know is a tough cookie himself when it comes to racing. But can Michelin get the slipstream and possibly go for a move into turn 1? I think he might be looking for that opportunity. He's a tad bit far back for my liking to go for this move, but he's going to try and stick a nose up there anyway. He goes in deep. Levi leaves him the room and lets him through into the lead, but Levi is going to have the inside line for these next few corners, but just didn't get the run that he wanted and has to concede the position and has to slot back into second place. Michelin was really, really pushing on that last lap. And I think he might have the pace advantage over the rest of the field. And he's going to try and make the best of it this time and keep the mistakes to a minimum. He's got 5 laps to go. But Levi is not going to give this one up without a challenge, as we know how powerful the slipstream is in this car. And he's going to have the opportunity, whether he's slow or not, to keep with the 777 if he can keep it all together. But through corners like that, he's losing half a second, which is just incredible. It goes to show how hard Michelin is pushing. And we'll see what the gap is, interestingly, at the end of this straight. It was half a second coming out of Oak Tree. And now on the run down here, it's already down to 4 tenths. I wonder if we might be able to get it down to 2.5 maybe. We're now down to 3. If we come down to 2.5, it's actually going to go down to 2 nearly, but then he just lifts off. And good racecraft there from Levi as Michelin gets all squirrely in turn 13. And now coming around the final few corners, Levi's going to have to get a really, really good run, which he actually has, and will have an opportunity to go for the lead of this race if he so chooses, as we come now onto the start of lap 5. And just look at how powerful the slipstream is. But I don't know if Levi's going to choose to fight this one. He's going to pressure Michelin into braking deep, which he does. But Michelin places his car very, very well. And Levi can do nothing but sit back and watch. And this is going to be a big battle of mind games. And if Michelin can keep it on the track and set some good lap times, and gets away from the 39, as if he can, he's pretty much got this in the bag. As long as he doesn't make a mistake like he did earlier on, he will be doing just fine. But yeah, this is kind of what you have to do in these lower formulas. You just got to play a little bit of mind games, pressure your opponent into making mistakes. As you can see, Levi just is not putting. He's not maximising the car through some of these corners. And you can see how much time he's losing there. And how much more he can push through that sector. I don't know if he's not pushing on purpose and just taking it a bit easy. Which, I mean, if he is, then a very, very smart decision by him. But, wow. Another interesting battle. Gabay and Last going side by side. But once again, Last not really choosing to fight with anyone today. Excuse me. And Gabay moves himself up into 3rd place, up 9 places. Another driver who has done fantastically in this race and has been the benefactor of other people's mistakes. And yeah, once again, this race just being mind games and keeping it consistent. As we've seen a lot of mistakes, surprisingly, in this race. I wouldn't think we would see too many, but I've seen a fair amount, especially on throttle and under braking. It's really been tricky for some of these guys. But Kadar and Ventura, these two have had a fairly tough race so far. Of course, they made contact just a few laps ago, and that's a lap car there. Being very, very awkward, but Ventura was pitch perfect on the brakes into turn 1 and puts himself up into 7th place. And Kadar, I don't know, just this race he hasn't looked amazing. Looked fairly slow, and there's another mistake by him into turn 4. And has lost 1.5 seconds to Ventura already. And yeah, I don't know what's been going on. I don't know if he has damage or something, but he's just been really, really slow. And unsurprisingly, Connor has set the fastest lap of the race with a 48.9. FYI, that's around half a second quicker than what Meshalem in first is doing right now. And speaking of first, Levi is actually keeping tabs with him, which is quite weird considering how quick Meshalem's last lap was compared to Levi. But I think Meshalem just keeps making mistakes that are costing him a lot of time. And it's really, really harming his race at the moment. It's making this win a lot more difficult than it needs to be. As Levi seems to be around half a second-ish, give or take, slower per lap. And yeah, I don't really know who's going to win out in this one. Levi's been a lot more consistent, but Meshalem's pace is just that lot better. And Levi's last lap was actually pretty good. It's his personal best. Pardon me once again. And it was 0.4 of a second quicker than Meshalem on that last lap. We've got 2 laps to go here at VIR. Stern making a move up into the top 10 on Galili. Not too bad at all, considering how poor his race has been, but making a nice little comeback through the field. There's yeah, a lot of people making comebacks this race. Kind of, it would have been wonderful to see what he could have done, but he came into the pits for reasons we are not sure of at the moment. I don't know if he got a penalty of some sort, or just picked up damage, or maybe loaded a wrong setup and had to pit for fuel. Not quite sure what happened. He was held in the box for a long time, and there's Galili sliding his way through turn 4. But it looked like he was held in the box for a long time, so I don't think it was damage, considering these guys get fast repairs. So I believe it might have been fuel or a penalty. But I'm just theorising, so, you know, I'm not going to be 100% accurate. And you probably shouldn't listen to me anyway, as half the time I waffle a lot, as I'm sure many of you know. But anyway, back at the battle for the lead. Like I was saying a lap ago, Meshalem's pace just seems to be that little bit better, but just can't quite get the consistency that he would hope for. He actually matches his best lap time of the session, which is fairly impressive. But yeah, through that turn 1, I mean, he gained like 0.3 of a second on Levi. I don't know if Levi made a mistake there, as he is going fairly slow at the moment through this first sector. But oh, there's a mistake for Scher, who I believe was in last place anyway. That has added to his woe of woes, as he started 14th, and in this race will most likely finish in 14th. As we are on the last lap here in VIR. Been a not as chaotic feature race, let's be honest, and I've just said it. I've said it, and Baba is off the track, and I believe Kadar is as well. But I don't think he's lost any positions because of it. He's a lucky boy not to miss out on anything there. But I think Meshalem has got this win in the bag. And I mean, you know how powerful my commentator curse is, so maybe I've just set it off once again. But let's hope he the 777 can keep it in one piece through this last sector. I mean, he's been really topsy-turvy this season, but a lot of the times has made the best of opportunities that have come his way and has done a fantastic job when it counts. He's made this win a little bit more difficult than it needs to be, but as Dom Torino says, you win. Winning is winning by a mile or a meter. It does not matter. Mechelem wins in VIR, a feature race. I believe that's his third overall win of the season. He really does excel in feature races, doesn't he? And Levi finishes in second place. Gabe up 9 places. An incredible job by him. Finishes in third. Those two coming together there into turn 1. Last in 4th place. Euron in 5th. And the rest of the grid will most likely come across the line as they are, unless anybody decides to make any last lap mistakes, which let's hope everyone can keep it on the track nice and clean. And Connor actually, considering how far behind he was, he's actually caught up the rest of the pack fairly well. He's only about 2 seconds behind Galili, but unfortunately it's just not enough. What could have been for the number 48, considering what he had to pit for. Of course, we are not 100% sure what happened, but he put on a pretty impressive performance, setting really, really good lap times, but unfortunately will not get the points where it counts. But it's Amir Mechelem who takes victory in this feature race. Really, really good result for him. Made it a little bit challenging at the start, but eventually got his head down and managed to get the win in the end. Levi in second place, Gabe in third, last in 4th place, Euron in 5th, Ventura in 6th, Baba in 7th, Soric in 8th place, Stern in 9th, Kadar in 10th, Galili in 11th place, Kana in 12th, Mazuz in 13th, Sher in 14th, and Diag, who didn't even take to the grid, in last place. And wow, after an enthralling little day of battling today, I'd say that opening heat race was rather impressive. I'd say we had some good, exciting action from start to finish in that race, and you just didn't know who was going to finish where, apart from maybe kind of in first, who rather dominated the field. And then in that feature race, once again, it was a little bit unpredictable at the start, but then started to quiet down towards the end, and Mechelem taking another victory. Like I've said before, he manages to pick up these opportunities when others falter, and he just manages to slip himself up into first and makes the best of it. And we all love to see an underdog, and he's picking up some good points with that win, and he will definitely be happy with himself. Maybe a little bit scarce considering the mistake that he made, but at the end of the day, he had great pace and was able to finish the race ahead of the rest of the field. And at the start of this feature race as well, we saw quite a few mistakes, quite a few coming togethers, but eventually the field manages to spread out, and we didn't really see too much past, I want to say, lap 3 or 4. Had a few battles here and there, but apart from that, not too much chaos going on. But I don't believe anybody is going to join us for today, which is rather unfortunate. But was hoping to speak to some of our drivers, especially Mechelem. Would love to speak to him about the race, but doesn't look like anybody is going to come for an interview today. And like I said at the start of this broadcast, if anybody would like to compare my enthusiasm in my voice from then to now, considering how croaky my voice probably sounds from talking for an hour non-stop, but I'll be okay, hopefully. And let's hope the next time I do a broadcast, my hay fever is not too bad. But I think that's pretty much all we got time for. I don't think anybody else is going to join us. So, wow, another interesting day in this league. It never ceases to disappoint, does it? It's always chaotic and always fun and always entertaining. And, well, that's going to bring us to the end of this broadcast. I've been Aaron Smith, and of course got Louisa Roy in the production trailer. And it's been an absolute pleasure to commentate for you today. And we will see you in a couple of weeks' time for the last round. See you then.